I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Ira Ish. Hi, Ira.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
My name is Ira Ish. A lot of people just go ahead and just call me Ira. I am a VTuber from Canada. I play a lot of video games and a little bit of variety. Trying out the new Killer Clowns that came out not too terribly long ago. I'm not that good at it yet.
So the clowns are getting you first right now.
So far, I'm a better human than I am a clown.
No, I just ask my wife. She'll just tell everybody, no, he's just a clown.
Sounds about right.
That's right. When did you get started VTubing?
I got into VTubing probably, I want to say, about a year ago. I've been streaming almost 2 years, but I wanted to really have like my own avatar, my own image, probably about a good year in, basically.
Yeah. And so you were you doing it? Was your face on camera, or were you doing it off camera?
My face has never been on camera. I started off with a little PNG that a friend of mine created for me, and that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah. What made you decide to do it? Were you a fan, or did you just decide I really want to show everybody?
Honestly, as I've been following quite a few VTubers for quite a while, even before I started streaming, and I always found them to be super entertaining. Just the expressions that they could do, how unique everybody is, and yeah, I was like, you know what, I want part of that.
Yeah, well, it is definitely unique, and there are some similarities. Obviously, I mean, you can't have so many thousands of people doing something and not have a similarity here or there, but everybody has their own story, and everybody has their own reasons for doing things, and their own likes and dislikes. If you can't find somebody to watch on a particular stream on a particular day, then that's on you. It's not on what's on.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's so many different kinds of VTubers out there. Like, you got obviously the big ones that everybody knows. Even if you're not even into watching streamers or really into VTubers, you know who they are. And then you have all the little small ones that are just like intertwined, trying to break through. Those are the ones that I really enjoy watching, because they're kind of known, but they just need that little extra kick just for them to really be stars.
Yeah. Some sort of, I'd say break, but maybe that's not quite right. Some sort of catch, or that'll either give them the right type of audience, or will get them noticed at the right time. Hopefully in a good way. Hopefully in a good way. Doesn't always happen that way, but hopefully in a good way. So what's your goal with your YouTube channel? Are you wanting to make this a career, or are you in it for the fun right now?
At the moment, I just like streaming. Like, I started off with a really kind of terrible gaming laptop. Is what I first started streaming on. No camera. Yeah. I kind of had a somewhat decent mic, which I changed real quick because I basically got the streaming bug.
Yeah.
But my setup could not handle really running OBS and a game going at any really given time, because I would see my CPU jump to about 40% use.
Yeah.
On OBS with my old setup. And when I realized that, it's like, no, you know what? I enjoy this a whole lot. I decided to build myself a computer, and that took me about a good 6-7 months, and that's the current rig that I'm using right now.
Now, so you built your own then? So You knew what you were doing, or were you going by?
Oh, I have no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. I had a couple friends help me find the basically what I was looking for, and I didn't want to like cut corners on like cost and whatnot. I wanted something that was going to last me a while.
Right.
And I now have a roughly $3,000 freaking gaming PC that's kind of just sitting here.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, for crying out loud, mine. I'm not doing a lot of. I'm not actually VTubing myself. Not going to be doing any of the my interviews, as you know by now, are audio, so it doesn't take quite as much bandwidth and all of the computer stuff as I'm doing it. But I can tell you on my old laptop that I actually tried to play games on, it takes about 4 seconds for the CPU to go to 100%.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. And really it depends on your setup, on what you're running in the background. But for some of these setups, you're going 40%, which is a lot, but there are some people who,
like I said, that was my old setup.
Yeah,
it would crank up to that high. Now, I'll see at the bottom of OBS, and it'll literally sit at 0.0.
Wow,
almost the whole entire time. It doesn't use any CPU whatsoever. Maybe it'll occasionally go up to like a 0.3, but then it just drops right back down to 0.0.
It doesn't run 15 Windows Defender programs at the same time.
I mean, I probably could run 15 and still wouldn't make a difference.
And downloading all the entire program repeatedly while you're trying to do something else. That's.
Well, I had what was it the other day where it actually went up to a 0.5, and I was wondering, okay, what is going on right in the middle of stream? And it was a video driver that decided to download at that given time. Steam decided to do something, and then I had a Windows update as well also going, and it didn't even touch my CPU.
Wow. So you've got yourself a setup there, pretty good one. And what are you using for the camera? Are you using that computer, or are you using something else for it?
No, I have the camera's not great, but also in the same sense, it's never my face that is on. So I just needed a camera that is good enough that it could see my actual face for my avatar to actually just be able to move and bounce around. So it's like a $50 camera. Yeah. It's the cheapest thing that I have for my rig currently.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just described you got a Cadillac going besides the camera. but it's really
this thing's a blast furnace.
Yeah. Right now, that's all you need. Right now, other than that, and it really goes to this. People don't need to have the biggest, brightest setup to be able to do it effectively. It just has to be able to run.
Oh, exactly.
Especially when you're just starting out. And
yeah, so many people seem to think that they need like the best of the best when it comes to like just gaming, VTubing, the whole thing. Like I found out real quick because my very first avatar, when I started getting into it, I made myself off of like a bunch of free programs, and honestly, like I had an absolute blast with it. But seeing so many people that drop thousands of dollars on an avatar and then nothing ever happens, with it is just kind of sad to see sometimes.
Yeah, I see some people get that, and then it's like 2.0 coming out in a month. Like, boy, you've already used up my rent payment for the entire year.
It's like you have that much disposable income that you drop that much money on your first model, and then you're already like going to be debuting a 2.0.
Yeah,
holy, give me some of that.
Yeah, I'll spend some of that for you if you don't want to use it on other things.
I will gladly spend some of that for you.
Absolutely. Now, once you're on the channel, what type of games do you usually stream?
The game that I primarily stream majority of the time is a game called Dead by Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 1v4 asymmetrical horror game,
right?
Where you have a killer and 4 survivors, random maps. Objective for the killer is obviously kill the survivors.
Right.
The survivor's goal is to avoid the killer, repair generators, and open the exit gate to leave. Now, the big draw that this company has with this game is that they have a lot of original killers and survivors, but they also have a lot of licensed killers and survivors. And what I mean by licensed is that they have something from, horror history or slasher history, and they have that killer or that survivor from that specific universe. So people like Michael Myers is in the game.
Yeah.
You have Pinhead, Nemesis, like the list goes on. Like they got so many that are out there, and the newest DLC that they brought in is D&D. So you have Vecna, the Lich from Dungeons and Dragons,
right?
Not the one from Stranger Things, from actual Dungeons and Dragons.
That is cool. That's a good idea on their part, because it does keep the replayability up, but it also keeps the interest up. And
exactly, considering that every killer has their own unique power as well, so it's never really dull, so to say.
Is the way that it's programmed? Does it? You have a chance. You can win every time. There's no impossible levels, is there?
No, there's no impossible level, because if you're playing killer, you're just going against 4 other players from somewhere in your region.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you do get others from Europe, which I've run into multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's never really like impossible games,
right?
Unless you go against people that kind of train for like the competitive scene that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Those are hard games.
Oh
those
yeah,
are very hard games.
I mean, I was thinking more along the lines of the program itself. When it's randomizing, it doesn't give you a completely impossible map to get through, does it?
No. There's they have a lot of maps. Some maps are more in favor of survivors, and some are definitely more in favor of the actual killer itself. But also it depends on which killer you're also playing, because a lot of them have their own strengths and weaknesses, where you have like a couple S tier killers, and then you go all the way at the bottom, you have your D, almost E tiers that you're going to struggle on probably a good majority of the maps, but you can still make everything work. You can win, you can lose on every killer regardless of strength.
I would be the Z. I'd be waiting
all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, whoever. I'll be sitting in the middle and wait for somebody to show up. Oh, you guys won. Okay, fine. Whatever. I would be the laziest one of the bunch. But so you stream that mostly. Are you able to do you get collaborators with that?
I play with a lot of my community. When I play Survivor games, I do play with some of my mods and other community members as well. Whenever I'm feeling to change it up a little bit, just move away from killer, because that's primarily what I do main.
Yeah.
But I do swap it up just to breathe a little bit of life, especially if it's been like a really like slow day for me, or a headache is kind of brewing. I just kind of want to sit back and not have to think too hard.
Yeah. That would be the time when I would want to be the killer. I'm feeling pretty nasty right now. I think I'm going to go and wipe these people out.
Well, that definitely is one, especially if you're having like a really bad day and just want to take your anger out on something, but you don't want to take it out on like anything in your like room.
Yes.
It's like, might as well just take it out on pixels, basically.
Are there any games that you've been streaming or want to stream right now?
Well, yesterday we played Killer Clowns. Dead by Daylight is one that, again, I play the vast majority of the time. Another game that I also do play a lot of the time is Final Fantasy 14. That is a game that I streamed when we were doing raiding. But we're in the middle of like a DLC drop, so there's been a lot of nothing going on in that particular game until the end of this month, actually. So not really a lot to stream on that end. Nothing that I could actually think of to actually show people.
Right. Everybody's kind of treading water and waiting for it to drop, and then
pretty much.
And then from the go, everybody's going to be jumping in on that. There's a lot of people who enjoy that particular franchise.
Oh, it's going to be chaos. The last DLC that dropped was during COVID or in and around there, where they were trying to improve the servers, but because chips and whatnot were really down because everyone was buying up cards and everything like that, they couldn't actually upgrade the servers the way they wanted to. So login queues then were like half hour to 45 minutes for people to try and actually get on. It was an absolute nightmare.
That would just kill me right there. When you have to play a game to wait to play another game, it was
super demoralizing because you pay a monthly subscription and then you're literally waiting to actually log in. It sucked. Like, you bought the DLC, you bought the game, you have a sub, and you're just playing the waiting game.
Yeah. And if I would imagine if people were trying to stream it and trying to keep to a schedule, it's even worse.
Oh, if you're trying to keep to a schedule, if you were a full-time streamer, you definitely had it easier, because if that is your only job, you were able to log in before, like, a good length of time before your stream even started. So you were perfectly okay. But then you got people, like normal people, like, me and you, where we have a job outside of, streaming, interviews, stuff like that, where sometimes you don't get home until like 10, 15 minutes before your stream starts. You're still waiting in queue.
Yes. and this is, we used to call that in radio, you're going to talk in circles for a while.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like if you listened back in the day to a radio station and it was getting close to what we call the top of the hour, like 1 a.m. on the exact point, and we've got 3 minutes left to go, you're going to hear somebody talk in circles for 3 minutes until they get to that point. Now here's the weather forecast again. That's what you end up doing.
You definitely hear it a lot, and a lot of streamers definitely do that as well, just to try and keep the conversation flowing. It's like, oh, okay, this game is updating or this game is downloading. It's like, let me just not sit here and stare off into the abyss while chat is like, yo, what the hell's going on?
No, you don't want them tuning away at any.
No, you don't. You want them engaged.
Yes, and then you want them to come back, which I think that a lot of early folks getting into VTubing need to realize is that people will come to watch people play a certain game, but they'll come back not for the game necessarily, but for the people who are playing it, because they can watch somebody play it somewhere else.
That is definitely what you want in the long term, regardless of whatever game that you are playing. You want them to be coming back to you, and not the actual game itself.
Yeah.
When I first started, the hardest thing, especially when I was going for affiliate, was just getting people to come in and just stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Just to get like that, bare minimum to actually kick the algorithm off that I could actually get it.
Right.
But in the end, like, I just like streaming. My very, very first year, I think I streamed 340 days of 365.
Good gravy.
So that kind of goes to show how little time I actually took off. And probably about 10 of those, I was away on vacation.
Oh my.
So I was basically forced to take those off. Otherwise, it would have been like 350 of 365.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that shows dedication. I'll put it that way. There might be other words for it too, but I'll give you dedication.
Dedication's a good word for it. There's a couple other that come to mind immediately, but yeah, we'll go with dedication.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt for that one. Have you got any big plans coming up? Any big events coming up for the channel?
At the moment, nothing currently at the moment. I know last I saw we are creeping up on 700 followers on Twitch.
That'd be good.
Probably do something with the community when that does happen. But the only thing that really comes to mind right away is that in about 5 months is my 2-year affiliate anniversary. But that's really the only thing that really comes to mind. If my model gets done, then obviously something huge is definitely going to be happening then.
Yeah.
But currently at the moment, we're just doing, we're just coasting day in, day out, having a good time, chilling, playing games.
Yeah, 370 days of the year.
Exactly.
adding a few leap years to the process. Leap year days.
Well, I mean, we did just have one this year, right?
Yeah. So maybe if you've done it you could set the record. If you did it every day this year, you tie the record.
What is the actual record for consecutive days streaming?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna have to look that up. It's probably something crazy.
Yeah, that's probably something ludicrous. You see those folks who leave it on while they're asleep, so you never really know.
That is true.
I don't think that should count, but to each their own.
Well, I mean, if they are on all the time and you always see them on camera with the stream going, then I guess it kind of counts. I mean, look at all the subathons, like that VTubers and whatnot will run. It's just on, and their characters just chilling, playing old VODs.
I talked to a few folks who tried to do the 24-hour thing early on, and all it did was make them angry and tired.
Well, sleep is definitely important. Sleep is definitely important.
I'm at that age where it's more than important.
Oh man, I used to be able to stay up for like 3 days straight and not really be affected. Now it's like if I come close to anything even remotely close to 24 hours, and I'm just absolutely wrecked.
Yep. And I worked in radio. I worked overnight for a long time, and my sleep has never really fixed itself. So there are just plain days where I just don't sleep because that's the way it works. But I can tell you now, at nearing 60, where I am now, almost, it's a lot different than when I was nearing 30 when that happened. You still can do it, but you really, really don't want to.
Oh, I agree, 100%. I mean, I've always been a night owl.
Yeah.
Like I stream till about 3 a.m. Pretty much almost every day. And even then after that, I'm still up for a couple hours after the fact. Just do either just coming down from the stream or just playing other games after I've just gamed for 4 hours.
Yeah. But now it's not your job game. Now it's just your hobby game.
Exactly. It's just stuff that that I like to do on the side for a couple hours that I wasn't able to either do that day because I either worked, come home, set up stream, and then I could do my little side game for at least a couple hours before bed.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I've stayed away from the Stardew Valley update, because I would never get away from the computer. I've played that so many times since it started. And I know the update changed the game a lot. I've stayed away from that program because I'd never get these interviews done.
Stardew Valley is one of those games that doesn't matter how many times you've played the game, you can always just come back and replay it over and over and over again.
Yep.
One of my buddies made the mistake of jumping down the Stardew Valley rabbit hole again, and we didn't hear from him for about 5 days.
Bungee cords don't help.
No. And when we finally managed to hear from him, out of those 5 days, I think he got about maybe 8 hours sleep.
Oh no.
It was like, my guy, what is going on? Did you even shower over those 5 days? And he just kind of like looked at us. He's like, no comment. It's like, come on.
It's like, it's a good thing we're just over the phone here, okay? Now, there were a couple of times when I first played it that I fell asleep while playing it, which if you've played Stardew Valley, you realize it's a very bad thing to do.
I've played Stardew Valley a couple times, and I never got so insanely addicted that I would fall asleep while playing.
Yeah.
I definitely have put in like a good 10 hours in one sitting one day because I lost track of time.
Yeah.
But nothing quite so crazy. Maybe in my younger years. Maybe. I would have, because sleep, I didn't need it.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm begging for it when I get the chance. Have you always wanted to be somebody who entertained people, who wanted to get in on a stage and show and and entertain the folks?
Yeah, honestly, no. That was never something that I ever really aspired to, because especially in my younger years, if you ever ask like any of my friends or family that are still around, if I would be able to entertain to that level, they'd be like, never in a million years. It's like, I'm shy as hell, especially back then. I'm introverted, so me dealing with people face to face, like, I tend to just keep really quiet, which is kind of funny considering how large of an individual I am. And I just keep to myself, especially in public.
Yeah.
And I remember asking my friend, and before I even started streaming, he's like, "Hey," he's like, "I'm thinking about maybe potentially starting streaming." He's like, "Can I ask for your help on setting it up?" No problem. And it just kind of took off. People coming in, just chatting with them, and never in a million years did I ever think that streaming anything and just talking to people and them finding me entertaining, like, never thought in a million years that would ever happen, because I like to just keep to myself a lot of the time.
Has that changed a little bit since you started streaming?
Oh, it definitely has. Like, I'm a lot more vocal in public, whereas before I would just not say a word. Like, if I'm cashing out, I'd say, "Hey, how's it going?" and "Thank you very much," and that'd be about it. But now it's like I can actually, talk to, not like I never really could talk to people in public before, but now it's just a lot easier, if that makes any kind of sense.
It's not just, "Yes, hi, how are you? I'm leaving now, goodbye," that type of thing. Engaging in conversation.
That's where it was, and now it's, I can just talk you up and have absolutely no issues whatsoever.
That's cool, and it's great. We talk to people now who are introverted, extroverted, who come from all sorts of backgrounds, and they always seem to get something out of their personal life that is a benefit of one way or the other out of being able to come on and express themselves on the internet in this particular way. And it sounds like that you've gotten some of that benefit.
I definitely have, and man, I kind of wish I started streaming like years and years before the fact, because it probably would have helped like a vast majority of a lot of things that have definitely happened. But hey, better late than never,
Well, yeah, there's not an age limit, and there's not a time limit. Folks can get involved, and as we talked about early on, you don't have to have the greatest of equipment. Just, in fact, it probably shouldn't start off with great equipment. Just get on and find out whether it's for you and whether you like it in the first place.
Exactly.
And we're lucky that you did, because then we get a chance to talk to you here, and we get to see what you're all about on your channels. We're going to have the links in the description for this particular interview. I want to thank you again for coming on. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and nice to meet you.
Well, thank you for having me. It was definitely a pleasure, and yeah.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.